Welcome to Unlocking the Power of Agentic AI from Vision to Action. I'm Scott Harris. I'm the president of VIAcode, and I'm here with Victor Mushkatin, the CEO and CTO of VIAcode. Let me first give you a little bit of background on VIAcode to give you a sense for what qualifies us to be here today to present this to you. And then before I do that, I also want to thank our partners, Microsoft. We're honored to be partnering with Microsoft to bring you this content. VIAcode started in around 2000. Victor was one of the founders. He's the V in the VIAcode. And we started out in our early time building software applications, and we launched our own application into the marketplace in 2004, an application called Intercept Studio, one of the first application performance monitoring tools in the marketplace. Sold that very successfully worldwide. So successfully, Microsoft bought that product company from us at that time and embedded that solution into their System Center platform. That time, Victor became a senior member of Microsoft product teams. Victor went on to become a part of the Azure product team, where Victor envisioned and led the development of Azure's Application Insights. VIAcode, Victor left Microsoft, came back to VIAcode, as did I, and VIAcode transitioned into a cloud services business, using our software engineering and background to build technology, intellectual property, to help us help our clients have a better experience in Azure. Today, VIAcode is a cloud services solution provider that helps customers modernize their technology. We help modernize on the infrastructure side by helping customers accelerate through their cloud journey from migration into Azure, and once in Azure, using our intellectual property, including our VBox product, which you'll hear more about today, to better monitor, manage, and optimize Azure. And we also help customers modernize applications, data, and get into AI. Hence, where we are today to talk about AI. And I don't need to tell you that AI is hot. And we talked to lots of customers to sort of figure out how do they take advantage of AI in their organizations. Victor's going to spend some time sort of help giving you a roadmap and giving you some ideas for how do you use AI, how do you get started, and where do you go. And so I'll turn it over to Victor here. But before I do that, I just want to say one thing, which is stay tuned at the end, because at the end of this, we're going to provide you with an offer that's going to allow you to get started and take advantage of a program from Microsoft to fund us to help you do a proof of value in AI. And so we'll talk more about that later. But with that, let me turn it over to you, Victor. Have at it.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, everyone. As Scott mentioned, AI is here to stay, and it's pretty hot. So we will talk about AI in general, because something has changed late 2024 with respect to AI that was rather fundamental. So we'll talk about that. And as a result of that, we'll talk about implementation approach, what you would need to do in order to come up with a strategy, in order to implement strategy for your organizations. And we also will show you a couple examples, like from our real life examples from our practice to highlight those points. AI has been a dream for a long time. This artificial intelligence, superhumans kind of. I remember as a kid, Arnie was saving us from Skynet. And here, fast forward 2025, we have AI that's doing a lot of things. We're asking AI what presents to give to our wife on Valentine's Day. We're asking AI how to summarize documents, or how to write a document. So we're asking AI a lot of things, and that's what we all familiar with. We're all familiar with ChatGPT-like experience when we are asking AI, and AI is provide us with an answer. But something has changed. Something has changed to make AI what I would call intelligence. One of the definition of intelligence is ability to achieve goals. So what happened is, with agentic AI, you now have a thing that can achieve goal autonomously, using its own brain to plan its execution, using available tools to achieve that goal, and adapt to the context around. So if in the past, your experience with AI was you ask a question and it provides an answer. Now you can create an agent where you will give that agent a purpose. And it's like you creating something. The thing will become alive, where you telling that agent, you are this. Your job is to do that. And you can use these things to achieve those results. And suddenly, that thing will act on its own. So a lot of, I'm sure that you've heard about the agentic AI, and you know that AI would do a lot of things for you, but you ask questions like, what should I do? Like, where do I start? How to bring this agentic AI to reality? So the purpose of this webinar is to help you frame your thinking, how to implement agentic AI for your organizations based on our experience. And I'd be happy to hear your feedback on the webinar, on the content, what you think would work for you. I'm really deeply interested in AI, in its future. So please don't hesitate. At the end of the webinar, there will be a way to contact us. Please reach out. So the world we're living right now starts with like large organizations building LLM, large language models. They spend millions and billions of dollars on data centers, on compute, on storage, on inference to produce large language models. Essentially, big tables with weights, something really deep inside, internal, like neural network, similar to human brain. You have heard about those models from Meta, from OpenAI, from Anthropic, Microsoft, Google. Those models answer all human questions that are publicly known to humans. For example, it is trained on Library of Congress, Wikipedia, medical journals. So it basically knows what human collective knows about this world. On top of those large language models, you have vertical solutions that were specifically designed and trained by vertical vendor for their specific industry. For example, ERP, SAP would have their own model. Atlassian would have their own model. ServiceNow or Salesforce would have their own models. So those vertical models and solutions are specifically designed to answer really well questions from that particular domain. And then there's you. Essentially, corporations that are utilizing all these models and trying to make sense out of it. And there are three things that you will be doing, my prediction, in the next 3 to 5, maybe more years. First of all, you will be explaining AI how to reason over your proprietary data. Public models know War and Peace because it's been trained on it, but it does not know your proprietary data, proprietary documents, etc. That's one part of the scenarios that you will be covering as part of your AI implementation. Another one is you will be automating repeatable work, like grunt work, something that your junior employee would do. And a third one is based on AI, you will be able to envision new offering, fundamentally new offering as part of your existing products or brand new products. So let me dive into those three big areas. When I say converting tribal knowledge into AI consumable format, what I mean is making sure that AI can reason over your unstructured data. Let's say you have documents that describes your company, that describes your company culture, the way you think and do things inside your company. It's not publicly available information. Therefore, ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini wouldn't be able to answer questions specifically about the way you do things inside your company. Therefore, you need to convert that knowledge into something that AI can consume. Maybe you have heard about a new database format, database structure called vector databases. So basically what you need to do is you need to index your unstructured data. For example, using AI search, you can index your, let's say, SharePoint. So AI can reason over that. In addition to your unstructured data, you have structured data. You have databases, you have logs, etc. But the thing is, AI does not know how to properly query your database because it does not know what that table actually means and what that field in that table represents and what that relationship actually symbolizes. So what you need to do, you need to explain AI what all those entities and relationship means. So we have a number of customers, but the one in particular where it's a large logistic company, considered like a FedEx, UPS, like a big logistics company, and with a very old, I would say, legacy applications written in on any language you can imagine, starting with C++. And the issue is they have a very expensive process for doing root cause analysis when something goes bad with a shipment. In other words, they were planning to ship from point A to point B, but something went off. And it was very hard for them to understand where the package is, where the parcel is, where the container is, and what needs to be done now. So the solution is essentially reasoning over hundreds of tables and databases with petabytes of logs to really help, to really aid with this process. So what we observed is over 60% reduction in issues detection and remediation time. So what I'm going to do next is to show you a glimpse of that system based on a RAG approach. So I'm going to demonstrate you how we helped a customer to address that issue, time-consuming RCA, analyze the data, crawl across petabytes of data, hundreds of tables and fields and relationships. So what I'm going to demonstrate is how through this chat interface, I will be able to use English language, ask a system to provide me an answer, and then I will demonstrate how system will come up with a plan of execution and convert that answer into, at the end of the day, calls to SQL server. So let's say I'm trying to understand what happened with a particular parcel. So I'm asking, hey, provide moves of parcel such and such from point A to point B. And what I'm doing while when I did that, AI will be thinking about it. It will expose its thinking to you. So, and that's very important. It does not know how to answer to begin with. So it takes AI a number of iterations to keep refining and refining its way of thinking to finally give me an answer. So it looks like this is already third ways of thinking, and here I go. It basically showed me a list of movements for a particular vessel. But the interesting thing is to look behind what happened. And what happened behind is essentially this plan that this AI was calling multiple agents, calling multiple tools to achieve that goal, essentially give me that answer. And for example, if I look into, let's say, SQL Server, this query has been written by AI itself. How AI knew where to call, which table to, how to construct that query. Remember, I was mentioning earlier that you need to describe your proprietary data, your tribal knowledge to AI, so AI can reason over it. So let's say if I go and I look into this table in ViewNet, and I look into my knowledge base where I describe all my logs, all my documents that are relevant for this logistics company, and all my databases, I'm sure I can find this data here. So that's inventory unit. Because I was able to describe it to AI in plain English text, AI was able to reason over it and use it as part of answering on my question. So you've seen how we've helped one customer to reason over proprietary data, and hopefully that demo highlight the point that like out of the box, ChatGPT wouldn't be able to answer that question because ChatGPT does not have access to your database to start with, or your log. So the next big area that most likely you will be engaged with is automating repeatable work. And that's where this agentic AI shines as well. The core of agentic AI is this agent that has a system prompt, basically, that tells this agent its purpose. Then the agent itself has a planner. It's like a brain. It looks at the its prompt. It's basically what it needs to do. It looks at the incoming requests, and then it looks at the tools, things that it can use to achieve that goal, and it writes program for itself. It basically create a plan how to execute that. And it can execute pretty autonomously. The thing is that at current moment in time, we as humans, we don't trust agents, and agents are not at the levels of sophistication where they can go about their business without human oversights. So it is important to introduce it's a term of art, human in the loop, essentially ability for humans to do either explicit or implicit training. Like explicit training where you provide a feedback. The most simple thing is like thumbs up or thumbs down. Like, yes, it works, that those results are working for me, or no, you messed up. Also, it is very important for agents to monitor itself and provide you with a confidence number. Essentially, if I'm 100% confident, I probably don't, it's okay. If I trust that agent, if I did enough, loops, validation of its result, and I see that agent believes that everything is 100% confident, then I'm okay to let it go. But if I see that agent is showing me something less than 100, I want to know. I want to know about it, and I want to look at the results and review, and potentially tweak the agent, either train or modify prompt, etc. So we had a number of customers where they have a lot of repetitive work. We have a number of customers in a medical field, and it just so happened that in medical field, faxes were grandfathered in HIPAA. So one organization B, can send all the data to organization A, or vice versa, via fax. And what happens is the recipient organizations have to key that in to their system. And we have, and there is a whole industry of third-party organizations that charge money for entering that data. So that process, manual data entry of those faxes, is expensive and error-prone. So what we did for a number of our clients, we use AI services, Azure AI services like Doc Intelligence and OpenAI, to basically train system on document types and synthesize OCR output to integrate it automatically with the legacy system. What it allows customers to not only, well, I would say no, it would allow save on cost, and 40%, that particular use case, 40% improve the data entry. What I'm going to do now is I would like to demonstrate how we implemented a system. It's an example of a system that automate that process, where faxes are automatically OCR'd, if you will, and reasoned over and converted into a data artifact that can be ingested into legacy system. So you see the incoming queue dashboards for all the faxes that this pharmacy receives. So all faxes where confidence level is 100% already goes automatically into the system. But when AI sees that there is less than 100% confidence level, it will put it into this queue so human can intervene. What I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate like a manual process. Typically, there's an automated system of receiving faxes, but let's say I want to upload a fax. And what you see that I've uploaded fax, and the system is processing it. While it's processing it, it uses this document intelligence and OpenAI to reason over data. Once it's done, I can go and take a look at both the fax and what it was able to kind of obtain from that fax. So what you see here is that Nancy Pierce, it was able to convert to Nancy Pierce. This nicotine was incorrectly written, so it did not recognize. Well, basically, it put this as not as nicotine, and I understand why it didn't do it. So that's an example where I, as a human, can intervene and change the way system understood the data. So first, system understand that something isn't 100% accurate. It gives me an ability to interject. It gives me the ability to change things. And ultimately, it saves me a lot of time by doing most of the work, 75% of the work on its own. But the important thing is that I also can provide feedback, not only fix this, but let's say that this particular form, imagine there could be different doctors sending these type of faxes in a different format. Imagine that the system did not properly categorize it. So what I can do is I can change the type of the form, and I can apply changes. So what happens next is magic. This data goes back to AI, and if I go and look at the admit form, now I have my reorder form sample that I just submitted as part of the training set, telling my system that this form example is actually not a reorder form, what the name might imply, but actually admit form. And the system will learn that now this type of document should be categorized, qualified as admit form. In addition to that, I can teach the system like I would teach any junior employee. For example, how to interpret admit form. Like with any humans, you have a job description. Same thing with AI. I'm telling agent what its job by telling in system prompt that you are a pharmacy technician. Your job is to process incoming prescription, document, and extract key value pairs for exports in JSON format. So that's essentially the job description that I'm giving. Obviously, there's more, but that's the essence of the job description that I'm giving to this agent. Knowing that job description, knowing all the tools that available to achieve that goal, this agent will do its best. 7/24, no complaints, no holidays, do its best to convert all incoming faxes into JSON format that can be imported into an application. By doing that, it saves huge amount of time for me as a human to do typing, making errors, and ultimately it saves me time and money on this particular step. So hopefully you've seen enough how we help customer to automate that data entry process. And at that moment, we were optimizing existing processes, essentially the bottom line. Okay? But agentic AI doesn't stop right there, stop there. It allows you to introduce new services. Basically, what it allows you to expose your data, your logic through an interface that other AI can utilize. So what in the past, I'm sure you all have heard about, let's say, EDI format. It's an ability for businesses to transact with each other. There were a number of iterations of that. I remember first version of XML, then web services, REST, etc. We all trying to simplify communications. Well, guess what? Now with agentic AI, you can expose your application logic, your data, and third-party service integration in an intelligent way where the agentic AI agent in the future will be talking to another agentic AI agent. And you will be drinking pina colada. Basically, it's like in those movies, let my people talk to your people. Granted, I'm talking about like future, but that's where we're going. And this direction opens up a new set of concerns like security, like how to make sure that my agent is savvy enough to not expose my data to a rogue agent, other agent, or human for that matter. How to make sure that whatever it produces, the communication it engages is safe. Meaning that it does not use any kind of hate speech, no discrimination, etc., etc. So it's a new set of problems that this AI direction brings up. How you monitor this infrastructure, because those are in some cases new tools that you're going to be using. And one of them, and I want to single that out, is cost. Cost is a big factor in AI. All our customers are talking about cost. And I want to talk about cost as well. To highlight the point about that agentic AI allow you to envision new services, I want to talk about something that we are very familiar with, basically cloud management. As a consulting company, we help other companies to rationalize cloud management, because you may also see that it's not that there is a lack of tooling. There's a lot of tooling. There's recommendations how to improve your Azure posture from Advisor, XDR, Purview, third-party tools like VIAcode. So it's not that there is a lack of tools of your ticketing systems, like your monitoring systems, your project management systems. You have all of that, and yet it's pretty hard, what we've seen from our experience, for customers to standardize and operationalize cloud center of excellence, we call it, cloud management. So what we built a product that does exactly that. It collects telemetry, recommendations, tickets. It helps you rationalize all that exhaust from FinOps, SecOps, and Cloud Ops perspective, essentially, and allow you to manage your backlog. So what we do as a consultant, we come to customers and we help customers to reduce costs, improve security depth, or increase observability, reliability, and compliance, performance. So we essentially helping customer move the needle, and we needed a tool to do that. So we built that tool. It's called VBox. The thing is, that tool on its own would not work, meaning that it requires us or customer to use that tool to in a kind of regular basis to drive these improvements. That is, as I said, 2024 way, when you are asking the system. Now, in 2025, there is Agentic AI. So essentially, what we were able to do, we were able to introduce Agentic IT Advisor and Agentic IT Engineer. We're basically agentic agents that do things. It's their job to monitor your cloud posture from cost, security, and operations, and learn from you how you think about prioritization and advise you when something has changed that would fit your profile. It would help you in an active way that, hey, you need to improve your BCDR, or your SOC 2 compliance is coming soon, so you need to button up these controls. That's the job of advisor. Then you, as a manager, you look at your backlog, and you can distribute that backlog between traditional IT and Agentic IT Engineer. That Agentic IT Engineer is junior. So we have standard scenarios. We call them skills. Let's say FinOps reporting skills, where we help with tag management. And as a matter of fact, that I will show you that strategy, where we help with tag management, reporting to highlight showback and chargeback. So essentially, we have a number of skills that Agentic IT Engineer can do. And as part of execution, you can oversee how it's doing them and train it. Also, as part of traditional IT engineering execution, our system learning how you do things, and also build up this training data set. So the idea is, over time, you train the Agentic IT Advisor and Agentic IT Engineer so they can do their work better and in more autonomous way. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you a demo of that Agentic IT Advisor, how it can help you manage your Azure environment. So what you see here is VBox Cloud Management Platform. It gives me kind of holistic view of my cloud platform posture, from cost to security to observability to operations, rather. It gives me a recommendations what needs to improve from cost, security, and operations perspective, right? But the interesting thing is what I want to talk about is that it gives me details on my costs, but it does not out of the box give me an idea how to do chargebacks and showbacks. So typically chargebacks and showbacks is it's a fundamental FinOps concept where you can assign infrastructure to a particular, let's say, cost center, owner, application name, etc. So you can do slicing and dicing cost and see which application cost you more money. So to do that, you have tags, let's say cost center, where you see all your infrastructure costs broken down into the cost center in this case. And this picture is very typical. The fraction, let's say in this case, 1% of infrastructure has that tag, cost center tag. So clearly, analysis of such data would be pretty useless. So this is our VBox Cloud Management Platform. Remember, we introduced our Agentic IT Advisor and Agentic IT Engineer agents that are actively doing something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that that agent that's covering my back sent me this this email suggesting that I, like Victor, to support your efforts in improving visibility and cost control across your Azure environments, it put together personalized tagging strategy. Okay. And so this VBox Agentic IT Advisor sent me that email knowing that I need to look into it. And it already provided me with a proposal, with even tag mapping. So it gave me the essentially the document that I can work with that outline the summary of all the resources that I have, and it basically review my current tag patterns, calling the fact that it's a demo, it's a dev environment that's mostly it's a Kubernetes tags, and proposing particular set of tags like cost center, environment, project owner, and billing code. Okay, and some other optional tags. But the interesting thing is that what I can do is I can go back to Agentic IT chat, one of the interfaces to work with Agentic IT advisor, and talk to this advisor about this this particular proposal. So it provided me with a summary of this, and then I can ask, for example, to show me tag mappings, please. Oops, I need to fix my spelling and always say please. So what I want my advisor to show me what the mapping it proposes. And what I expect it to do is just to give it to me in a list, hopefully. Let's see. It did not give this to me in the list. Basically, it asked me to download. So what I can do, I can download it and essentially go to my Excel spreadsheet and see my resources, name, the tag it proposes, current value, and proposed value, like cost center, Agentic IT, environment staging, owner, A. Kirchen at VIAcode.com. So it basically gave me something to work with. What I can do is I can change anything here and submit it back to my advisor, so it will take it as an input. And when I go back and I ask to apply, apply tag updates, it will basically apply tag updates with my input to it. So what you've seen is how our agentic IT advisor proactively monitors and looking at areas for improvements and suggest me actionable way to do those improvements. And also, I didn't show you as part of the demo, I can apply those tags so our IT engineer would be able to actually do those changes. So hopefully you've seen enough on this active agentic AI execution and understand that it allows you to really expose some of your functionality in this active manner where it will work for you on behalf of you. But the cost is still a big question, and the cost is a big question for us. I would say that AI solution cost, you can roughly put into two buckets. Your infra cost that you all know pretty well. Your compute cost, let's say Kubernetes cluster. Your storage cost, so that is well understood. And scaling for that well understood. What's less understood is the cost of AI services. And AI services solutions pricing based on tokens, and for English it's like 4 characters, 1 token. We even had for one customer test, they came to us and said, well, we did some napkins calculation, and it looks like 1 hour work of our system would cost us $70,000. And basically we helped them to rationalize their cost. It was not $70,000. But they were multiplying one big number, another big number, we're getting even bigger number, and we're scared. The reality is there are a number of ways you can optimize cost. For them, we even did a test. We used Chinese, where a 1 token represents almost like a war and peace. So, and reduce the cost of a solution, although we didn't go to prod with that because we couldn't validate that. But the idea here is that you need to be very surgical which model you use, because models are different. What you see, for example, ChatGPT 4o mini is 30 times less expensive than ChatGPT 4o. For some things, ChatGPT 4o mini is good enough. So you need to be selective when you are designing your AI solutions. And this is an area where we see a lot of companies struggling. So when we look at overall AI strategy implementations, we see that this process generally works. You start with a POV, meaning that you have an idea, you have a belief that AI would help, but you need to solidify your peers' opinion. You need to expose that idea to your upper management. And proof of value is a really good kind of step where you design your solutions, you come up with cost for your solutions, you clarify the ROI, basically your business case, and you have some kind of demo. Once you bring everyone on the same page, what you want to get, the next phase is actual MVP, where you have features and functions and people will have access to it, or a portion of your customer base. That's where you start thinking about security hardening. You think about what critical features needs to be implemented to call it MVP and stop calling it a demo. That's where you think about, well, if before it was in a dev kind of test environment, now you need to really separate like your production versus development and UAT infra. Once that is done, once you receive kind of market validation, customer validation, the next phase is general availability, where you need to think about SLA. You need to think about observability, like how you monitor that, what's your BCDR strategy, what's your LLM ops, like ChatGPT 5 models out there. Are you planning to move to them or not? Right? And then once you go into GA, then you go into what I would call autopilot, where that solution would be rolled into your overall ongoing management, where you most likely have like a cloud center of excellence rhythm of business, where you look at your IT assets holistically from cost, security, and operational perspective, where you know how to integrate your monitor, your observability into end-to-end monitoring, where tickets are alerts are turning into tickets are properly routed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, where you have a support trained on what needs to be done. Okay? So that's essentially a journey that we see customers go through. And the takeaway, we recommend start with understanding how to turn your proprietary data into AI consumable format. So you can play with the data. You can reason over your proprietary data. The next is, we believe it is very important to build a business case and have a clear ROI for that solution, because that's how you can ask for budget for next year. And by the way, this webinar is very timely. Ask for budgets for next year for your AI solution. And the last piece is a third, but definitely not the least. We recommend to bring qualified partners to accelerate this first proof of value. And the reason why I'm talking about that as being really important is because that proof of value allow you to very cost effectively validate your organizational readiness for AI. And what I want to mention is in partnership with Microsoft, we provide Microsoft-funded AI proof of value, AI POVs, we call them, at no cost to you. As part of that POV, we help you develop this high-level solution architecture. We help you rationalize the cost, both on your Azure infrastructure as well as MVP implementation costs, like your first milestone, first visible to customer milestone. And then we help develop a business case for you. And the last piece, the third kind of big deliverables, is the demo, where you will be able to show how system can reason over your proprietary data. So with that said, thank you. Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Victor. I mean, you sort of laid out the next step already, which is to sort of take us up on the offer to do a Microsoft-funded proof of value. I think for a lot of customers, AI rollout and sort of execution is a sort of a chicken and an egg, right? Like, I don't know I can't invest in it because I don't really know what the ROI is, and I don't really know what the ROI is until I invest. And so the AI proof of value program that's funded by Microsoft and delivered by qualified partners like VIAcode allows us to help you get through that chicken and egg issue, so we can help you sort of scope and understand what it is you want to accomplish, sort of understand how it should be architected, consider the feasibility, consider the effort and the roadmap for sort of rolling it out from proof of concept to MVP and so forth, and then determine sort of the cost of doing all that and the return on an investment. So again, there's no reason to do this without a partner, especially when Microsoft's willing to fund this. And so you should reach out to us, use this QR code, and we'll have a discussion with you about how that program works and whether or not you qualify. So thanks for Victor. Thank you. And thank everybody else. And thanks from Nimbus, our mascot here. And we hope to hear from you and help you implement AI.
Thank you, guys.